take Don't Be Your Authentic Self at Thanksgiving this year. We are always told that vulnerability.
So I wanted to talk about this from the energetic perspective because that's my specialty. And that's a great video. Go ahead and watch the whole thing. He gives some good tips about kind of being in a difficult situation. I want to talk about what that means for your energetic field. And then I want to take you to kind of the next step if you're ready for sort of a more awakening perspective. This is more of like an integration or healing perspective. And a lot of the people who watch me are sort of on the awakening journey. So I wanted to give you kind of the next step past this if and when you feel like you're ready. Hi, my name is Paula Taylor. I'm a sound and energy activator, intuitive reader and channeler, body worker and fearless alchemist, and I coach people on the path to spiritual awakening. So what he is talking about in that video is what I call sometimes disengagement or even quantum superposition. So this is the idea that you can go into a space and specifically intend that your energetic field is not going to interact with the energy in the space or the other energetic fields in the space. And there's this idea of quantum superposition where like two particles can occupy the same space at the same time and not interact. That's kind of where I got that term from. I'm not a physicist, so don't come at me in the comments. That's just how it makes sense in my brain. You can also call this disengagement. So I am an empath. I used to be extremely overwhelmed anytime I went into a crowd. Nobody knows how to push your buttons like your family does. It's just kind of part of the wiring of how we were brought up together, and it's part of your healing journey. It's purposely challenging. So the first step that he's talking about is what I call disengagement or superposition. You're going to go into the space and essentially you're going to set the intention that my energy is not interacting with the energy of the people around me. And what that looks like is what he's talking about in terms of sort of keeping things a little bit superficial, not showing your vulnerability, just sort of being there but not being fully engaged in a spiritual or like energetic sense. And that's a great place to be. Absolutely. If that's where you are, that trick has helped me many times. I'm going to give you the next step beyond this because a lot of you are ready for that. And I want to talk about this in terms of the field again. So at a certain point on your spiritual journey, you get to a point where you are holding a lot of clarity, expansion, and harmony in your field. You can sum that up as using the word coherence. So when you have a lot of coherence in your field, what that means is your field is stable. You know what your field feels like, and you're able to maintain that regardless of where you are. And the first step to that is like practicing that superposition idea or that disengagement. Like I am in my own field no matter where I am, no matter who is around me. So the next step beyond that is allowing yourself to then engage with the other fields around you in a way that your coherence is preserved. So what I mean by that is that you can intentionally allow your field not to interact. You can say, I'm not interacting with the fields around me. And you can also say, I am holding my coherence no matter what, and I am open to allowing interaction. So you've sort of tweaked the nuance of that. I'm allowing my field to interact and I am staying in my coherence. So the first way is like, my coherence is the most important. I am not letting anything disrupt that. Absolutely fine. The step beyond that is I am so secure in my coherence that I am going to go into the space with openness and know that nothing in this external environment can mess with my own coherence. And the magical and amazing thing about this is that sometimes when you go into a situation with this intention and doing this energetic work, other people will begin to entrain to you, meaning they will align their coherence with yours. Essentially, most people are not doing this consciously. They're not doing this intentionally. They are in a state of chaos and they're just looking for something that feels stable. They're looking for something that feels good. And sometimes when you first come in with coherence, you are sort of triggering them into more chaos because they don't know what that looks like. And if you can come in this joyful space of non-judgment, joy just means non-judgment. I'm not judging any of the other fields in this space, but I allow them to interact with mine. And I am holding my space of coherence so that my coherence is not shifting. What will sometimes happen is that you will find those other people shifting their coherence to match your resonance, to match your frequency. And I have seen, like in really surprising ways, people I never expected to kind of soften or be vulnerable or open up or awaken to kind of come into my field and experience this idea. It's sort of like, hey, come on in, the water's great. And then sometimes they do. And oftentimes it's temporary, oftentimes it doesn't last. Oftentimes, again, it can be even more triggering for them to experience your coherence. So I don't recommend trying this until you're really solid in your own coherence. And the other thing I will say is take a break if you need to. Even if you're kind of in that space of like working on the superposition and working on not letting things interact, if you're new to that, it can be really difficult. Go outside. Take a few minutes and stand outside, even if it's cold. Put your coat on. Go into the bathroom. Do some deep breathing. Do some oxytocin breaths. I've got a whole list of nervous system regulation tips that you can use. Do some thymus taps or thymus rubs. That's one of my favorite things. Someone asks you what you're doing, just say, "Oh, I think I got some heartburn." Or say, "Hey, I'm regulating my vagus nerve. Would you like to know more?" I just wanted to present that because you can see that now. A lot of people were talking about the meeting between Trump and Mamdani, and like Mamdani came in with this really coherent field. And when you have a really coherent field and you know exactly who you are and what you're there for, and you're not willing to budge out of that space, what will sometimes happen is that the non-coherent person will begin again to entrain themselves to you, will begin to step into your coherence. It's a pretty amazing thing. It's always about free will. We're not pushing our energy into anyone else's space. We're just opening this invitation for people to step into more coherence if they want. Wherever you are, know that you're loved, know that you're supported, know that you are held with so much grace, no matter the state you're in, when you're alone, when you're with people, when you're triggered, when you're not. Have a beautiful day.